Kevin Page, have a MBA in finance as well as an undergraduate in finance from the University of Nevada, Las Vegas. I've worked in the investment management business for the past 26 years, currently working for Wells Capital Management, in charge of relationship management for the Taft-Hartley Group for the firm. I'm currently serving in the position of Board of Regent for District 3, appointed by Governor Gibbons in January of last year. And we've been working pretty hard at that position right now in some difficult times. Kevin Page.
Dr. Richard Hawkins, economics professor and attorney. What can the Board of Regents do, given the current budget situation, to retain quality faculty for the long term without losing them to other states under this circumstance?
Kevin Page. Doctor, that's a very good question. It's extremely important in these difficult economic times to be able to keep professors and the overall mission in place, because as you get a cut back in higher education, you start to get a brain drain. People want to go where they're committed to higher education. We've seen budgets cut here. UNLV in particular, so far $65 million has been cut in the budget. And so one of the things we've been very careful on is to protect the faculty members that are there, that you just don't eliminate those positions just to cut back and save money. Because at the end of the day, your institution is only as good as your faculties, and your students are only as good as your faculty and the programs that you have.
Should we just send us this way?
Hi, it's very nice to meet you.
Same here.
You have serious budget cuts that have to be done. What I want to know from you, when it comes to the collaboration between the Clark County School District and the Regents, do you feel that cutting the remedial classes in math and science and English, or say reading and math, put them into the community college level, and cut out those classes would do two things? Cut the money that's being spent and saving that money and using it for other things for the region, for the universities, and to hold the Clark County School District accountable for not teaching our children.
Kevin Page. Well, I think the Clark County School District needs to do a better job in those classes, because one of the issues we see in higher education right now is kids coming in need remedial classes. They're very, very expensive. And so unfortunately, the way the cycle is in K through 12, if they don't do the job when they get through to higher education, they have to fix that problem. And so yes, I think it would be better if we can get those kids through so they don't have to do remedial classes when they come to higher education. But unfortunately, we're seeing more and more of that. The other thing we're seeing is grade inflation because of the Millennium Scholarship. So we've seen a lot of people, they say, oh, they have to have a 3.0 to get the Millennium Scholarship. And so they get a situation where maybe they don't deserve that grade, but push them along, and so they get that Millennium Scholarship. Kevin Page.
Yes, Don Wilbray. Ms. Page, first of all, I appreciate you being here. You're the only one up there. And so I'm going to kind of give you a little open soapbox. The budget cuts through higher education have just been severe. And if you are elected to this position, what kind of ideas and what really makes you stand out as far as the candidate that everyone should endorse, and what kind of ideas do you have for this? Thanks.
Sure. Kevin Page. Well, fortunately, by being in the position, I've seen a lot of things that we've done. So, being forced to cut budgets, we've had to do that. But, cutting is just not the solution. You need to do more collaboration. You have situations right now where the community college is teaching classes at midnight. Okay, so you got a space issue. But you also have then Nevada State, where there's availability of classrooms. So one of the advantages we have in Nevada is the way the system is set, because you have the universities, the college, and the community college all governed by the same board, so you can do a lot more collaboration. You can, you could do classes, you could do programs, you could do more distance ed. We need to be looking more like that so we're more efficient. The other thing is we have an efficiency committee, because I think it's very, very important. As when times are good, there's a lot of fat out there. And so we need to rein some of that in. We've done it. We can also consolidate purchasing as one system. You know, going out, do a UPS overnight package, get the billing for all of the systems, telephones, cell phones, supplies, office equipment, everything we're doing, we could do it as one system, which we have not done in the past. We've had a purchasing department in the north, one in the south. Each institution kind of did their own thing. And so we can work on bringing them together. Kevin Page.
Hello, Kevin. I'm Chris Steele, and I'm observing what's going on at UNLV. You know, the Board of Regents dynamic. Jim Rogers moves on. We got Dan Clage on board now as well. One of the things I've observed is there seems to be a siloing dynamic that's happening at the university. Every department is pretty much in it for themselves. What's your perspective on, and you already mentioned it, collaboration is the imperative. What's your perspective on how we're going to get the department heads to be able to start working together to actually create a university versus a whole bunch of different colleges?
Sure. Kevin Page. Chris, that's a very good question. And we're seeing that now as programs get cut, it forces them into collaboration as they move from one college to another. You're right, in the past, when times are good, there's a lot of empire building, growing programs, growing schools, and doing their own thing. But as budgets continue to get cut, support staff gets cut, they have no other choice to get things done. They have to start working together. I'll give you an example. There's a sim lab out on the Shadow Lane campus by the dental school. Nevada State, Community College, UNLV, UNR, all together have that simulation lab. It's a real-time lab that will show you, they'll do childbirth, they'll go through and show problems that they have to react to. They do operations during this. If each of those institutions wanted to do it themselves, they couldn't do it. There was no way they can do it. But collaboration and adding those budgets together, they're able to do that together and have it. And it's worked very, very well. And in the past, they haven't been used to working together. So now when they do that, and they're forced to do it, they see that same students, they get along very well, and they start to build those friendships as they do classes together. And we need to continue to do more of that. Thank you. Kevin Page.